All right, so welcome everybody. Please help us to unmute to mute your mic. Okay, so today we are going to first treat the main issue that we raised at the group today was the fact that typecasting kind of threw a bit of an error for some people. How to typecast? What is typecasting? You know, all those small issues. So that's what we are going to first treat today. I'll talk about typecasting. I'll teach you how to do new line, escaping new line, how to escape. Yeah, I'll show you something for escaping. Well, I'll explain what it means. Then I'll also talk about how to comment your code properly. What is a comment? You know, how do you comment in Python? I would also talk about how to write good variable names. Like make sure that your variable names are relatable because you're not the only one that will end up reading your code. In fact, the only reason we write code is so that someone else can read it later. I will still ask your questions. So um yeah, so that's why those are the things we'll be covering in today's topic. So Janet, you are raising your hand. Hello, Janet.
Hello, sorry, that was a mistake. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
okay. Sorry.
All right. So yes, what else are we going to be covering today aside from the things I've already mentioned? Let me think. All right. When we as we start, we will flow and we'll get to cover all the things. So now I'll be switching to my PyCharm. Let me bold this thing again because some people were having issues seeing it. So I'm going to bold. I don't know why increase the font size. I want to set this font size. Yeah. No, 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 no. Oh, sorry. Sponsor, more editors. I want to change it. I would have done this before now. Font. The size I want to change. Is this better? Oh, I don't know if this is better. I cannot. It's going to take a while. Okay, I'll just.
Yes, it's better. Thank you.
All right. Let me also increase the size. Increase. So I'm wasting time. Increase. And this will be the second to last one. And yes, last one. All right. So this is okay. So today, Control A, Control V. So the first thing we are going to do is typecasting. I will just cover typecasting and we'll kill it. So what is typecasting? Now, typecasting is when you want to convert from one form of data to another form of data. But the thing about converting from one form to another is that that conversion must be allowed in Python. So let me create a variable called age. I don't know why age is always the first thing that comes to my mind, but let me say age is 12. It's very simple. So now this we already know everybody in the group, everybody on the chat knows that this is an integer. Now, and I create another variable called name and I equate it to say my name, Richie. Right? We know that this is a string, right? Now, I can convert I can typecast this age here into a string, but I cannot typecast this into an integer because this doesn't have numbers in it. I think Taiwo already said that today in the group. So that's basically why I cannot do the typecasting. If I try it, you'll find out that I can turn age to a string, but I can't turn Richie to a number. So if I say let me say new, new might be, let me say type. Shit, I cannot do typecast. Let me just say new underscore variable. So new variable. Alright, new variable equals to, let me now say int. Let me say int. Let me try it. Int what? Name. And then I come out here and I say print. Print what? Print new var. So if I run this and run, yeah, so it throws an error. I cannot do this with I can't typecast I can't turn letters to numbers magically, so it will not work. But I can turn a number to a character by just typecasting it. So it will just, all it to do is to convert 12. Instead of being 12, it's no more 12, it will become 1 and 2 simply. So I don't think we should waste too much time on that. If it's not clear, it's still not clear enough, notify. But I think we should continue. Because we talked about it in the group for a while. So the next thing we would cover is how to comment code. So to comment code in Python is very easy. All you need to do is just put hash in front of it. So to put hash in front of any code, it will turn to a comment. So why do we need comments? We need comments to guide us ourselves writing the code, and anybody that will read our code later in life or later in the life cycle of that code. It will make it easier for people to help to even work on your code to help you out where you're having errors. Because I got a job one time and they gave me code someone else wrote to work on, and the person did comment, and I couldn't do it. There's nothing I can do because I don't know what this person had in mind when they were writing this code. So only them and God knows what was in that code. And then I've had experiences where I've written code for a while. I left it C++ code for a while, and then I came back to the code I wrote, and I was like, who wrote this code? you know because I didn't put any comments, I didn't put any guides, I didn't explain the code as I was writing it. So when I came back later to look at the code, I was like, wow, for a function I wrote, I couldn't understand it. It took me a while to now start. It was almost like I had to write the code again from the beginning. So now, what are comments? A comment is simply just a guide or a description. So for example, here that I said age is equal to 12, I can actually put a comment before it that says, maybe here, after I can say a comment which is hash. Here I'll say hash, create a variable called age. Alright, so this is a comment, and it is good to put this all over your code, explaining what you are writing, so that people can understand. When they look at, someone just looks at your code and they know what it does. In fact, the easier your code is to understand, the better type a programmer you are. So if I can look at your code and understand it easily, it means you're a very good programmer. So here I'll just say typecasting name. So that's basically what commenting is. It's good we know about it, so we start using it in our code, and we start using, we start commenting this thing. So another thing I would like to show you guys is just tricks. These are just some small tricks you should know. Is how to escape. There's something called an escape character. / is an escape character. So what do I mean by an escape character? Let me show you something. Let me print, because I know that some of us are wondering why we can only print in like one line kind of printing. What if you want to print in multiple lines? How do you do it in Python? You could say you print half of it in one line and then continue the printing on another line, but instead there is a way. So what if I want to print something that is long, like I went to school. How do I spell school? I'm not sure I'm getting the spelling, but I'll just continue. Yesterday. Alright. And I hit my leg on stone. I don't know why that came to my mind. On stone. Alright, so this is a bit long, and maybe you want it to appear, you want to take it to the next line, because if I print it now, what ought it to show? It will show I went to school yesterday and I hit my leg on stone in one line. I can do this. \n. Now, watch what will happen if I run it. I went to school and I hit my leg on stone. You see what happened? It shifted the next to a new line. So it's good that you know about it, so that when you are writing code to take input, you can make your prompts. Because these things here are called prompts. These things here, they are called prompts. You can make them look very nice, so that it is looks more interactive per se. All right. So what else is there to cover? What else before we start writing pure coding? Yeah. Okay, one more thing. So these are just tips. Have them at the fly of your head. These are just tips. Whenever you are naming variables, make sure that you give them good names. Readability is key. The more readable your code is, the better it is. Because if you are writing a programming exam, your code has to be easily readable. if someone asks you, okay, a code challenge, and you write code that is not readable, and I write code that is readable that is performing the same action, definitely everybody already knows whose code they will pick. So if you want to name a variable, make sure you give it a good name. Don't be doing things like k3 is equal to maybe is equal to 5, and then d7 is equal to maybe 67, and then you now come and say if a6 is equal to k3 plus maybe d7, stuff like that. I mean, the code will still work, but later, if someone is looking at your code, they'll be very confused. Very honestly speaking, they will not. It's not going to be funny. So, if you are giving your variable names, please give them names that are related to exactly what they are doing. So, if the function of a variable is maybe a dictionary, storing a bunch of names, you can give it a name, even if the name is long. Still use it so that once you look at your code, you can easily scale through and know what it is doing. All right. So as at that point, if anybody still has any question, please let me answer them now before we start, because now we're about to start doing exercises. So for the rest of this class, we'll be doing one exercise after the other. Simple exercises, very simple ones. So, and I would like to have ideas from you guys too. So before we move into that, any questions, any clarifications you need, please tailor them now. I would address it. Okay. I think everybody is following. So is that as a thumbs up, right? Everybody, thumbs up. Okay. All right. Let's move. So where is my IDE? This is gonna be fun. So let me go to my book, because those exercises are from the book itself. So now, where are those exercises again? Side of pizza. Plus, second. Okay, yeah, exercises. So this one is pretty simple. Write a program that uses inputs to prompt the user for their name and then welcomes them. So this one everybody should be able to write this in like 10 seconds from everything we've learned. The second one says write a program to prompt user for hours and rate per hour to compute a gross pay. Now this one is a bit more tricky, a bit more, not like it's tricky at all. But so the first one says take input from a user and welcome them. So basically it means, one thing I always tell people about programming is that I always start from the back to analyze my question. So in a way, you guys also be learning how to analyze. For those of you that don't know how to analyze problems, if I give you a problem, the first thing you should ask me is what do you want to solve? So let me throw it out like this now. Imagine I came to you and I said, I'm having an issue, and then you ask me, okay, what is the problem? And I'll tell you, something like, let me accept, admit this person. So you are like, I have an issue, and I'm like, okay, what is your issue? You say, I need a way to welcome people. Like when they come to my office, I need something to just say welcome when once somebody enters, or once someone signs in or puts their finger on the fingerprints, this thing, it should say welcome. And I'm like, okay, so it means what you want is for something to welcome the person, right? So your required output. So that's how you approach any problem. Any problem at all someone brings to you, the first thing you should ask them is, what is the required output? What do you want as the output of everything? So because people don't really care how you solve a problem. What they care about is the output. Did you solve it? So that's the first thing you should always ask for. So the question said the output the question is asking us to provide is the person's name and a welcome message. All right. So that's what we are going to work with to solve our issue, to create the program. Let me welcome whoever is trying to join. Admit. So to do that one, let's see how fast it will go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll need variables to store the data that is going to be entering my system, because definitely I'm taking data from the user. So I'll say input. Sorry if I'm wasting time. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. So okay, I need a way to store it. So the person is giving us their name first. So their name. So that will be name. Then I'll equate this to what? An input, and then a prompt. So please, a string, which will be please enter your name. All right. Now, how to do this so that it shows enter your name. Now I can do something here. I can do a new line. I can do backslash and n, so that when they enter their name, it will show on the next line. And what do I want to do with that name? I want to print out a welcome message. So I'll just say print. I'll just say print, or I can even do something. So it's good to do stuff like this. Welcome, and I'll equate it to what? What's the message we are trying to print out? Welcome to, okay, welcome, then the person's name. So so this is going to be equal to a string that says welcome. Alright, done. So all I now need to do now is I can put a space here. Sorry, this is not German. Welcome is German. Sorry. I'll put a space here. So what I now do, I'll just say print. Give me a second. I'll admit you in a second. I'm just admitting. So I don't wait. Alright. So all I need to do now is now to just say print what? I'm printing the welcome first, right? Welcome, then plus. So welcome plus name. Alright, if I run this, it should do boom. Please enter your name. So we'll watch the name, should skip to the next line. You see where it's entering now? Richie. It's no more. So welcome Richie. Done. You've solved the problem. So that's one simple code we just did. The second code is a bit more tactical. So I'm going to comment all this out.
Sure, I think Mr. Bekezela wants to talk.
Oh, okay. Sorry, please, Mr. Bekezela, feel free.
No, sorry, I just faced a mistake. Thanks.
Okay, so please, for some of us that are with our phones, this is still very simple. So if you want, you can try it out. If you don't want, you're fine. But if you are sure you understand it, then cool. But if you want to try it, it is advisable that you do try it. So I'll just continue. So the next exercise there stated that we should do something. He said write a program to prompt users for hours and rates per hour to compute gross pay. All right. So this is just like so this is a very simple one too. All he's doing is saying, he's asking us. So imagine you run a company where people work per hour. So and you pay your workers per hour, right? So let me comment this out. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you pay your workers per hour, and you want to write a program to just calculate that automatically for you. So the good thing about Python is that it will later teach you how to run all these things as scripts. So you run it as a script, and it will just be working on its own. So now you want to calculate the gross pay of people that are working on your company per hour. So how we're going to do it now is we need two variables. Or how many variables? We need a variable to store how many hours they worked for, and then we need a variable to store the pay per hour, and I think that's it. Shibi? Yes. So the first thing we are going to do is we create a variable pay underscore or I don't really say pay per hour. I can just call it hourly pay. So you notice what I'm doing with the underscore. Whenever I am, this actually should be. So there are two ways of writing this. So let me show you. Let me just equate it first. Maybe I pay $12 per hour. So now there are two ways of doing this. Either you can either write it like this, or you make this one a capital letter. So whichever suits you best. But I think I prefer doing this sometimes. So hourly pay is $12 per hour. And then the amount of hours they have worked for has to be an input. So let me call it hours. All right. Now this one is going to be an input. So it's going to say it's going to say input. How many hours did you work for? So even though you're not supposed to ask your users how many hours they work for, because most of them will just lie. But yeah, it's fine. How many hours? All right, and then let's make that to appear in a new line, or it doesn't necessarily need to appear in a new line actually. So how many hours did you work for? So the next thing now is after they've entered the amount of hours they worked for, we need to now, print out the result. So their pay should be equal to what? The hourly pay times the worked hours. So I can just say um, hourly pay times worked hours. And then I can now say, come here and say print. Right. So I'm supposed to be commenting this thing. So I'm supposed to comment here, say, even though commenting takes time, it's good that you learn how to start doing it on time. So just comment here, say how much, and here let's do this one. So now maybe I'll say calculate okay. If I run this, it will ask me how many hours did I work for. I worked for 5 hours, and boom. Ah, yes. So who can guess what happened here? Who can guess what just happened? Anybody, please, please, please. This is a nice error I just ran into now. So as you can see, the error is not syntax and it's not logical. So everything works, but the result is something else, not what we're expecting, right? So who can explain why it happened? Anybody?
I guess is it because you didn't uh, change it from string to integer?
Exactly. I didn't typecast. That's why
Typecast.
it happened. So we are going to typecast this our input now. So now we are going to typecast the input. So there are two ways of typecasting. I can decide to typecast it here. I can say worked hours is equal to int, and then I'll put open bracket, then I'll put worked hours again. But that's long method. So how I usually typecast, I typecast directly. I typecast right away. So I'll just come here and say int, and I'll open here and I'll close it right here. So what it's going to do is everything inside, anything I input here will be typecasted into an integer and then assigned to work hours immediately. So this kind of things help your code run faster. So writing multiple functions on a single line means they will execute at the same time instead of making them run on multiple lines. It will make your code shorter and faster, but if you feel like you prefer a more explainable, understandable code sometimes, but even though this is actually pretty in fact this is efficiency here. So I would run it now and it will ask me the same question. I worked for 5 hours, the result should be different. $60 is what I'll be paid. Okay, now there is an improvement we can make on this code. We can improve on it in such a way that it will ask us for when we came, ask us for when we left, calculate the time we worked for, multiply it, and then return our result. You get? Because sometimes, I mean, it's easier for someone to just say I worked for 10 hours and you pay them how much? $120 and stuff like that. But but it's something we can do. So I think we should. I mean, if you have the idea that we do this other method I thought of, just signify by probably how will I know safe. Let me see. Like unmute your mic and mute it back. Blink your mic if you feel we should do the complex way of this same issue. Let me admit. Okay. So all right, everybody blinks their mic. All right, so let's do it. Okay. Where is my editor? Okay, so how we are going to do this one now is I would comment this out. Should I comment this out? Yes. Okay. So now this second method is basically we are going to have more variables to work with here. So so this second method is the person said, okay, I don't want my employees to type in how many hours they worked for. I want them to tell me when they came and when they left the office, and then let the system calculate how many hours they worked for by itself, and then pay them. So okay, and I'm like, okay, fine. It means I need variables to store some, kind of data. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is so I need to have two variables now for storing when you came in and when you left. So is someone trying to join? Someone trying to join. Okay, no. Okay, so I'll call the first variable time in. All right, time in. Let me just let me do it like this. Time in. All right, and I'll equate it to it's going to be an input. So it's going to be input. I'll still put something there. I'll call the second one what? Time underscore out. Please, if you okay, what you can help me do. So since all of us know the problem we are trying to solve, I want all of us to start to go and be writing this code on their own end. For some of you that have your systems, try and be writing the code. You know what we are trying to do, right? We want to take time in and time out, then calculate the total time spent in the office, then multiply it by the pay per hour before printing out the result as the total amount to be paid for the day. So try and be writing it on your phone. I'm going to be writing it here, and see if we all arrive at the same type of. I want to see if the codes look different or how different they will look. So whatever approach you want to use, if there are multiple approaches though, yeah, please feel free. Okay, I'll just continue writing it. So so now my time out is going to be what? It's also going to be an input. So it's also going to be an input. What else? What else do I need? I need time in, time out. I need a variable to store total time. So total underscore time. Alright. That one is going to be, let me just leave it open for now. I need a variable to store total time. What else? Total time. I need a variable to store pay per hour. So I'll call it hourly. So I'll call it, let me just call it per hour. So, alright. I need a variable for that. I'll say, okay, let me just say this one is going to be pay per hour, so $12. So total time is the formula for total time is timeout, I guess. Timeout minus what? Time in. That will give us our total time. Alright, pay per hour is 12. So what is now going to be the total pay? So total pay is going to be what? It's going to be total time times now. Okay, so let me now finish this one. So when did you come in? So when did you come in? Alright, and say then the second one is when did you leave? Alright. Okay, total time, everything seems to be okay. You see total pay mistake here, underscore pay. Total time times time per hour. So I'll be doing what? I'll be printing my total pay. Yes. Okay, so I'm done. Did anybody write it with me? Did anybody write it with me? Because I'm done. If you wrote it, please, you can put your paste your code on the group on the chat box. I will look at it and he will tell you if it's correct. All right. So if we run this now, it should work. At least I think it should work. So when did you come in? I came in by, let me say I came in by 8. I came in by 8:30. Oh, I cannot. This one is also another feature we can add later. But for now, no, we cannot do that. So I came by 8 o'clock. I'll just write 8 there because we are our, how will I put it? If if I put it like this, something is going to happen. It's going to throw an error eventually. So watch. I say, let me say I left by maybe 10. Let me say I left by 10. So and then let me just 10. Oh, it's going to throw an error.
Someone wants
So someone wants to say something. All right, thank you. Please feel free.
I want to ask, do we have like a date function in
Yes,
Python?
we actually have a date time function. We'll cover it later. We won't cover, cannot use date time now. It's a date time. You can get the time from your laptop. It even has a calendar function and what else? Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is, let me see. So for this our example, we are going to be giving this very very Migrimoish input now, but just for the sake of the example, so that you guys can understand. Admit. All right.
I think you should just use 24 hours per month. Use 24 hours per month.
Yeah, that's what I want to just. I want to use that instead.
Without minutes.
So yeah. Let me rerun it. So rerun. Then when did you come in? I came in by 13, and I left. 13 is around 1 o'clock, I think, and I left around maybe 17. So that's a few hours. I didn't really stay long. So what's this saying? String. I forgot to typecast again. No one reminded me. Let me just typecast here. Int. Sorry, where's my cursor? Okay, int open bracket, close brackets. Come here, int again, and do this, and do this. All right. So if I run this now, it's asking when did I come in. I came in by, let me say, 12, and I left around 19. So 84. So it calculated my pay and $84. So you see, this one is a more complex example, Sha. So I just wanted you guys to see different how to approach problems. Whenever you want to solve a problem, there are a lot of ways to approach it, and the best way I use is by thinking about the result that is required first and then working back from the result. So I know the result. How do I now get this result? And I now start trying to figure it out, running errors and all that kind of stuff. So we still have a lot of examples to do, but if you have suggestions on small things we can even run, please, you can just comment it type it on the chat, on the message, and send, and then Taiwo will tell me. But let me go back to the book. I think there are a few more there. There is also another one. Assume that we execute the following statements. For each of the following expression, write the value of expression. What's this saying? This one is looking. What's this saying? It said, assume that we execute the following assignment statements. Width is 17, height is 12.0. It says for each of the following expressions, write the value and the type. The value. Write the value of the expression and the type. Okay, and use Python interpreter to check your answers. Height. Okay, so this guy. Okay, I understand. Oh, okay. All right. So this one is a pretty straightforward example. So what they want us to do is we should perform these operations and then get the answer and get the type of the answer, the type that the answer returns. Someone is trying to join. Where am I? Here. So this is actually very straightforward to do. So I won't do all of them because it will waste our time, and it's a very easy one. It's going to take time. It's simple, but it's a bit plenty. So we'll do just number 2. This one. All right. And let me just go straight to my hurriedly comment this out. So if you're on laptop, to comment is Control /. It will comment everything out. So, and if you want to use the code back, the same thing, it will open it back up for you. So I'm just going to Control / and I can go up. All right. So it says perform an operation and then print out the type that results. So it's like saying, let me say height. Let me just do it quickly. height is what? Let me say 17. And then I now come here and say height, and I say answer is answer. Okay, there's no answer keywords. Then what? Answer is equal to what? Height divided by divided by 2. All right. If I print answer, what will be the answer? I'll now come here and say print type and open bracket here answer. All right. What should it return? It might return float exactly because 17 divided by 2 would give us a floating point number. Let me print the answer out first. So print answer. So what's the answer? It should be around 8.5. 8.5 is a float. A float is anything that has a decimal point inside it. All right. So yep. Pretty much that one is very simple. So let's do for a more complex one. Exercise 5. Write a program. Yes. This one is not bad. Which converts from Celsius to Fahrenheit and print out the converted temperature. Please, I would like someone to attempt this one with me if it's possible. So you just unmute your mic and you will guide me as I punch my keyboard and write the code. Okay? So let's do it. We are trying to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Please, who remembers the formula? What's the formula for converting from Celsius? I think you have to divide by something. Let me just ask Google. Just give me a second. Hey Google. Sorry. Hey Google. How do I convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit?
1 degree Celsius is 33.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right. Okay. So 1 degree Celsius is 33.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So I need the formula. I don't want to start doing math in my head. Okay. So who wants to attempt this one with me? Taiwo, Alpha, somebody, anybody, except Taiwo, because Taiwo knows it.
I personally think they should take that as a task and they move forward to another topic.
Okay. All right. So we should move forward to another topic because let me see what we still have to cover. Write program, we convert the user to we have exercise. Okay. Because the next topic is actually conditional expressions, if statements, else, we are going to start using operators here. Okay. Yeah, logical operators, what else? Conditional execution. Yeah, so at this point we start using if statements, and I was thinking if we should push this to the next class, but what do you think?
Okay, if you want to do it in the next class, fine.
I was suggesting we write we write like a lot of codes today, and then we give them an assignment, a more complex assignment, and then the next class we enter conditions, so that I don't want to push everything together. You get condition is like a new side of the whole programming world a bit. So I wanted to clean up with all these ones. So I will need somebody to help out with this Celsius to Fahrenheit this thing, so that we can do it. So please just suggest. I mean, it's 2 of us that will do it. So don't. I mean, just just unmute your mic if you want to help out.
Stanley wants to talk.
All right, Stanley.
Yeah, I can see the formula on my system screen. I think it's Celsius multiplied by 9/5 in brackets plus 32.
Okay.
That's the formula.
All right.
So we assign Celsius to a variable, then we multiply it by 9/5 plus 32.
Okay, so so look at how it will happen. So for now, let's leave the formula out of it. Let's approach. Someone is trying to join. Give me a second.
Okay.
So
We declare a variable. We input a number into a variable.
Okay.
Let's call it Celsius.
all right. So
Celsius equals to
Celsius.
equals to input.
All right. So equals input and then prompt. So we'll tell the person to enter.
Celsius. In the next statement,
All right.
Celsius multiplied by 9/5 in brackets.
Okay. So, but now you know we cannot make it. We need to store it somewhere. You get.
Yes.
So
But the variable is already been stored in Celsius. Celsius
so
variable. The
okay. Let me follow what you're saying. So you say next thing we need to do is called is what Celsius
Celsius, yes,
uh
multiplied by 9/5
times.
times 9/5.
So times 9/5. So that should be times then open brackets 9/5. All right.
Okay, brackets on, brackets on,
All right.
brackets on.
I should bracket everything.
Yeah. Although it's the same, but
Let's not forget to
plus
typecast.
plus 32.
All right. Plus 32.
So we assign this the whole of this to a variable. Then we print out the variable.
All right. Somebody said we should not forget to typecast. We forgot to typecast. So means this variable name is actually our Fahrenheit variable, Abi. I don't know how to spell this Fahrenheit thing. But let me just okay. Fahrenheit.
That also would be assigned to a variable.
So anyhow, I don't know Fahrenheit. I think there's an N that's supposed to be here. Anyhow. So now we need to typecast here. So I'll say int and I'll open my bracket. I'll come here and I'll close it. So if we run this bracket should close here. Have you? No, okay, no, it shouldn't. Okay, this one closes. All right. So we now need to do what output it, Abi. So print out the answer. So the answer is what we print this Fahrenheit variable here. So if we run this code, it should work. Enter your temperature in Celsius. Let me say 23 degrees, 73.4. We need to do a bit of formatting so this thing looks nicer. So here I'll add a double quote. I mean, this mark. I'm not good. My English is not very poor. Sorry, my English is very not so good. Let me even make it to enter a new line. So for those of you that are just coming, I showed the guys something and it's how to do escape, how to escape. You know, this backslash is an escape character. So whenever you are creating something and you want to escape, which will later you see how to do it later. So new line. You see what you to do for those of you that didn't see it initially. And what else do I want to do? I would like to do a bit of string formatting. Okay, I think it's not bad to show you how to do it now. There's something called an F string. Taiwo, how far? Should we start using F string now, or should we continue with normal? Show them how to use the F string later. Is Taiwo still around? Sorry, my network got disconnected. Sorry. Wow. What was the last thing I said, please?
Just continue from the Fahrenheit something, sure. Your screen is not shared again. Your screen has unshared.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Right. I think I should be able to do that. Resume. It's not resuming. Let me just stop and then share again. Alright. Share the screen. Share. Okay. I hope it's sharing now, right? Right. Alright, so I was going to do a bit of formatting here. So I'll just say I'll put a string inside here, then I'll add it plus. So, Fahrenheit, then I'll do another string here because I want them to show the Fahrenheit. So I'll just put F, inside there. F, capital letter F. Alright, I think that's it. Alright. So let me run it again. I think this should look. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put a plus. So syntax error. Plus here. Alright, that should fix it. Run. Alright, so you enter your temperature in Celsius. Let me say 100. So what happened? That new line took the 100 to the next line here. So 100, and there's an error. What's this saying? It said you can only concatenate string, not float to string. Okay, so apparently I can't concatenate this until I turn it into a string. I also, oh yeah. So I cannot add. Remember that time we tried adding a string and a number and it didn't work. So that's what's happening here. This Fahrenheit is a float. So
Please, I would love to suggest something. Sorry for
okay.
disrupting. I was thinking, can we use F string instead? I think it's more easy and straightforward.
Okay. All right.
We've not talked about F string.
I was suggesting we use an F string because since we had a lot of beginners, but let me just use that instead. Let me just say F. Sorry. Then I should remember properly. Let me see. Sorry. Fahrenheit FF cancel. Alright, I'll move this plus here. See if it gets it first. W is Celsius 23 Fahrenheit. Printed Fahrenheit just like that. Taiwo,
Yes.
I will need your assistance here. I must have forgotten how to use F strings. I don't know. So please help me out.
Print F. Print. Normally, you shouldn't be using F string because we've not talked about it, but for the sake of this, I'll see, right? Let me type syntax in the comment box. Just continue.
I'm coming. I think I remembered. The F has to come in front of the bracket. Trying to get that variable name. Faren.
Then you open the curly braces.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Then type what you want to format around that.
So I'll now say
Temperature is here.
thanks. Your temperature is Fahrenheit, then probably an F here.
But I think you should explain this because people that don't know how to use F string.
Okay. I think how I got this
The F
this
is meant to be inside the open bracket.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. So the F string is like how do I explain this curly bracket thing now? Is this curly bracket thing because the way I understood it, I understood it when I was working on Django, how you use it to make your string. Okay, so Taiwo, how far I think you'll be able to give a better description.
Okay, so F string is simply a way of making your output dynamic. That is, you don't have a fixed output. So, for instance, the syntax of F string, there are different ways you can make your output dynamic. The first one is the most easiest is syntax of using the F string, which is writing F, then whatever you want to write, then you pass the value that you want to be dynamic into the string by using curly braces, and then you have that. But we'll talk more about F string
Later.
on the material that we'll drop, so that for those that are not very familiar with it, but that's basically how to use it.
Alright, so if we run it now, and I think as at this point it should not throw any other error for us. Alright, your temperature is 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, this basically the other way was it would have required me to convert this Fahrenheit into a string first, then concatenate it with the words here. I'd forgotten the syntax for the F string stuff. So yes, I think it's already 7:51. Today we were able to solve like 3 examples, and I think with all those examples, any question you have concerning concatenation, typecasting, input, data types, what else? Data types, syntaxing, and all those stuff. It should be covered. You should be able to, I should be able to give you an example, give you a problem, a simple problem where that requires me to impute something into my system, and it will perform an operation, maybe mathematical operation on it, and return an answer as an output for me. So as an assignment, you guys will be, your assignment will be to write a code like this, but I think it will be like two self. So there's a which one? Let me think about it. Is this something I can generate off my head on the fly? Let me see. Let me see. While I'm thinking about it, does anybody have any questions?
There's someone with an error in the group chat.
Someone is running into an error.
Yeah.
All right, let us attend to it then. Error in the group chat. Let me see. Is it the Telegram or the WhatsApp?
On the group chat, like on the meet.
Okay,
You
on
posted,
the okay,
error.
sorry.
So you can just check it out.
All right,
I'm trying to respond.
let me check. So it says here, let me go to my chat.
And someone also has a question.
Okay, so it said Celsius inputs enter temperature in Celsius, new line. All right, Fahrenheit, Celsius times this, print F. Your Fahrenheit is traceback most recent call. It says line 3 module. F is not defined. Okay, so it's because you put a bracket before your F, so remove that bracket there. Like remove the bracket inside. Okay, let me how I explain it now. After the F there's a bracket, and then remove it, and then remove the other brackets too. So don't enclose the string you are trying to format. Do not enclose it inside the bracket. Just put the F in front of it, and then make sure that the data type or the dynamic data you are trying to display, for example here is Fahrenheit, is inside that string. All right, that should solve your problem. Who else Babatunde, please. Yeah.
Okay. My question is concerning this F string.
Okay.
Is it similar with this object literal in JavaScript?
I'm also familiar with JavaScript to object literal object. Can you explain more a bit of the object literal guys, so I might be able to give a better example?
It's like another better version of instead of using concatenation,
Right?
like using another dynamic. But I don't even know how to explain it unless I have to like show you. But I think it is related with concatenation of strings.
Okay. Object literal. So I think what object literal is related to in Python is dictionaries, key value pairs. So I think the reason is because of this curly brackets. That's why it looks similar. I'm guessing, right? So what you are referring to is key value pairs, and that is like dictionary, where I can use a key to refer to something. So I can attach a value to a string. So
That's
that
an example with JavaScript.
so anytime I say Fahrenheit, it knows what I'm referring to. I get what you're saying. It will work. It will work here, but that's an advanced what will I call it? Yeah, it's more advanced than it will actually work. Any more questions? I think someone else was raising their hand. There were two people raising their hands. Okay, no one else is raising their hands. Okay, yeah. Mr. Begzela, yes.
Okay, so in this Fahrenheit formula, you said the F inside the brackets there is for what purpose?
Okay, so this is actually why
Getting F again.
we were like, it's not a time to use an F string. But okay, so now let me try my best to break this F string down. All right, yes. Okay, so I want us to, since some of us here have a background in programming, so there's something we should know. In programming, anytime you see a curly bracket, just know that inside that curly bracket, an action is going to be performed. That's one thing we should know. Okay, so the reason why f string was made is
Okay.
a way to format a string. So instead of always needing to concatenate and typecast, the guys that develop Python are like, there should be a way to make a string dynamic, such a way that I can take a string, which is a bunch of like maybe a sentence, and make some of the values inside that sentence in a dynamic, in the sense that they can automatically update themselves. So let me give you an example now. So let me create another example with this f string. So let me just let me do this. Let me say, let me comment this out. Let me use my age example again. Okay, age is equal to 12 as usual, which it always is. I don't know why I like 12, but let me just make it 19 or 20. That's my actual age. Okay, so now I want to increment out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be incrementing this age, by 1 every. Let me say I want age to share increment. So let me just do something now for I this is a complex something, but it's not really so complex. In range, let me see. One comma 10. Right, fine. 1 comma 10. Do something. So what are you going to do? Age, right, plus equals 1, and then after you've done that, I want you to print age. So print age. So well, now, so instead of, so now what I want to do is I'm going to print an f string that will automatically update itself every time. So let me explain this code now. I said age is 20 for I in range, or let me say, yeah, for I in range 1 to 10. This is basically saying this range, what this range function does is that it will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So what's going to happen? This loop will run like how many times? 9 times, I guess. So every time this loop runs, age should increment by 1. Hello, yeah? Hello? What did you say? Oh, okay, I guess. Okay, so every time this loop runs, age will increment by 1. So now I'm going to use an f string to just show how we can make the string dynamic in a way. So I'll say I will just say, sorry, one letter f, then open my string, and then inside the string I will say you are currently, then I would put my age inside the curly brackets. So curly brackets, then age, then years old. Right. So if I run this, it should iterate over. Okay. So can you see what happened here? So you see, we use the same just one line of print statements to, so we didn't need to do any typecasting, we didn't need to play with the age, because if I was going to use the normal method, I would at first need to turn this age back into a string, then feed it into this place by using concatenation. But basically what f string does, anytime it sees a curly bracket, it knows that, okay, anything that is going to go inside here is going to be a variable. So I put the variable age here. So it will just say, take the variable age, whatever the age is, put it inside here and continue the string. You get? It's just like the same way we can use things like escape character. So they are, in a way, they belong to the same family of functionalities. This escape character here. So if I run it now, it would print it in a new line. You are currently 21-year-old, you are currently 22-year-old. So these are functions you can perform within a string. Like, they are like operations that you can perform inside a string. So yeah, that's the f string for you. That's how it works. It's just an f before your string, and then anything you want to print, put it inside a curly bracket, and it would print out that variable for you. You get? So yeah, that's it for the F string. Um, so we did about how many examples today? One, two, three, yeah, three, four, around five examples. So the assignment is still not, it has not come to my head. I don't know. I'm thinking of something simple enough, but that will still give you guys a bit of wahala to crack. So it's going to take a while. I will drop it as soon as we drop the materials and the video, or probably before I drop the materials and the video. But after today's class, I should be able to say that all of you that have been attending can easily handle anything required, the inputs, typecasting, F string. At least I will explain F string. We should talk about the for loop later. That's from tomorrow. We'll look at conditions, loops, all those things. But yeah, I think we'll be able to consolidate all the things. So day one, day two have been cleared. Day three, you consolidated what you learned on day one and day two, and it's okay now. So day four, we'll continue with a new thing. Maybe day five, six. By day seven, we'll clear it up again, and then we'll keep moving like that. So thank you all for joining us in today's session. We were able to write a bunch of code. We solved a few problems, and we saw the application of Python. We are starting to see the applications of Python. Yeah. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can still ask. And Taiwo, I don't know if anybody is raising their hands or want to talk. You can always just let me know. Yeah, aside for that, I think today wasn't really much of, we didn't really learn anything. We learned new things too, but we didn't really cover, so we just practiced a bit. All right. Yeah, I think that's it for today's class. Thank